Everyone says they want to change the world, until it's time to do what's necessary. Light Yagami didn't ask for permission. He didn't wait for justice. He became it. While everyone else was sleepwalking through life, he was 10 steps ahead, plotting, adapting, outthinking everyone in the room. This isn't about agreeing with his actions. It's about understanding his mindset, because once you do, you'll see that power doesn't go to the loudest. It goes to the most prepared. Light didn't rise through luck. He rose through precision, discipline, and obsession. And if you've ever felt like your mind is your greatest weapon, but you've been playing small, this is your wake-up call. This is how to think like Light Yagami. Ruthless, focused, unstoppable. Trait 1. Do whatever it takes to win. Let me ask you something real quick. If you could fix the world by doing something unforgivable, would you do it? Would you lie, cheat, or even kill if it meant creating a better future? Or would you stop yourself just to feel like a good person? Be honest. Most people want to change the world, but only if they can do it with clean hands. That's why most people never actually change anything. This is where Light Yagami breaks the mold. His entire existence is built on one principle: the ends justify the means. He saw evil, corruption, broken systems, and instead of tweeting about it or waiting for someone else to step up, he took control. The Death Note gave him power, but it was his belief that gave him the will to use it. He believed so deeply in the world he wanted to create that he was willing to become the villain in the process. That's not just arrogance, it's terrifying clarity. Now hold on. I'm not saying you should go full Kira and start writing names in a notebook. Don't do that. You'll just end up on a list somewhere. But let's talk about the mindset underneath. Most of us are stuck because we're trying to chase a powerful goal while keeping a spotless image. We want the results without the risks. But here's the truth. Anything worth building will cost something. Time, relationships, reputation, sleep, peace. And if you're not willing to accept that trade, someone who is will outpace you. Light didn't hesitate. He made the hard calls. And even if you don't agree with his actions, you have to respect the mindset. So let's flip that to you. What dream are you holding back on because you don't want to upset anyone? What move have you avoided just because it might make you look bad in the short term? Maybe it's dropping out to chase a path no one believes in. Maybe it's cutting off the friend who's holding you back. Maybe it's putting your ego aside to start from the bottom. Whatever it is, ask yourself, do I want to be seen as good or do I want to win? Because at some point, you'll have to choose. The path to greatness ain't always pretty. Sometimes it looks like selfish choices. Sometimes it looks like cold silence. But if the mission matters enough, you'll do what must be done, not what feels comfortable. That's the Light Yagami mindset. Calculated, committed, consequences be damned. Trait 2. What serves me? Let me hit you with something uncomfortable. How often do you make decisions that actually serve your interest? Not what your parents want, not what your friends expect, not what society tells you is respectable. I mean your growth, your future, your vision. Most people don't even ask that question. They're too busy trying to be liked, trying to look humble, trying to be a good person. But here's what Light Yagami figured out early on. If you want to rise above the noise, you've got to act in alignment with your own interest, even if it makes people uncomfortable. That's not selfishness. That's strategy. Light didn't waste time asking for permission. The second he got the Death Note, he moved with complete intention. He didn't care what anyone else thought. Not his teachers, his classmates, or even his own damn family. I mean, they didn't even know, but that ain't the point. Everything he did was filtered through one question: does this serve my mission? If the answer was yes, he did it without hesitation. That's what made him lethal. While everyone else was hesitating, Light was calculating. And bro, you don't have to agree with his morality to respect his focus. Because here's the thing, the world will always pull you in a million directions. People will throw their expectations on your back and then call you selfish when you try to stand up straight. But if you don't start putting your goals first, someone else's goals will use you as a stepping stone. Now let's bring this to you. Look at your daily life. How much of what you're doing is actually for you? That degree you're chasing, is it yours or your parents'? That relationship you're in, does it elevate you or just fill a void? That job, that habit, that routine, is it pushing you forward or keeping you stagnant? See, acting in your own interest doesn't mean being heartless. It means being honest. It means learning to say no when everyone expects a yes. It means walking away from comfort when comfort stops serving your evolution. You're not the villain for putting yourself first. You're just done playing side character in a story you were meant to lead. You think Light cared if people thought he was too cold or too intense? Nah, he was too busy building his empire one decision at a time. And maybe you should be too. So next time you're about to say yes just to avoid guilt or please someone, pause. Ask yourself, does this actually serve me? If the answer's no, then act like it. Start thinking like Light. Trait 3, winning is everything. Let me ask you a brutal question. If losing meant everything you love would be taken from you, how would you play the game? If failure meant being erased, forgotten, locked away, how would you show up? You see, most people treat life like it's a practice round. They'll say things like, it's okay, at least I tried, or I'll give it another shot next year. But people like Light Yagami, people like Ayanokoji, they move different. Because for them, losing isn't just a setback, it's a death sentence. That's why they don't just aim to compete, they aim to dominate. To them, winning is everything. Not because they want a trophy, but because they can't afford to lose. Let's start with Light. The second he picked up that death note, the game began. If he failed, that's it. He wouldn't just get grounded, he'd rot in a cell or die on the spot. There were no retries. That pressure didn't scare him, it sharpened him. Every move he made was calculated. Every conversation, scripted. Every expression, controlled. Why? Because the stakes were survival. Same with Ayanokoji. The White Room didn't raise children, it forged weapons. If he didn't win, he'd be crushed, discarded, replaced like a failed experiment. That's why his mind is a machine. That's why he sees 10 moves ahead. These characters weren't just playing for pride, they were playing for their lives. And when that's your reality, trying your best stops being enough. You either win, or you're erased. The same can be said of those poor kids at Blue Lock. Jinpachi really need to be locked up anyways. Off topic. Now you might be thinking, okay, but I'm not locked in a psychotic experiment or holding a death note. True, but here's the part most people miss. You still have everything to lose. Your time, your potential, your future, the version of you could have been. That's what's on the line every time you coast. Every time you choose distraction over discipline. Every time you let yourself slide just a little. You're losing, not in one big moment, but in 1,000 small ones. The reason Light and Ayanokoji became monsters is because they lived like there was no plan B. And honestly, that's how you should move too. Want to develop this mindset? Start by removing the safety net. Give yourself real consequences. Tell yourself, if I don't wake up and train, I fall behind. If I don't study, I stay average. If I don't build this version of me, no one else will. You have to create pressure. Real pressure. Not the fake kind that disappears the moment you feel tired. Because that's how the best are made. When the game isn't just about winning, it's about surviving. You can set in punishments for not completely certain actions, like if you can't go train for a week straight cause of laziness, then rip a $100 bill in two, or even burn it, or even give a donation to a cause you hate. Trust me, that will really not feel good. So next time you think about taking a day off from the grind, remind yourself what's at stake. Light didn't have room to chill. Ayanokoji couldn't afford to relax. And neither can you if you really want to win. Trait 4. Everyone is useful. Let me ask you something that'll tell me everything about your mindset. When you look at the people around you, do you know how they fit into your goals? Or are you just hoping they do? See, most people move through life passively. They build random friendships, join random projects, follow random advice, and then wonder why their results are just as random. But not Light Yagami, and definitely not Ayanokoji. These two didn't see people as friends or enemies. They saw them as pieces. Everyone is useful until they're not. Light didn't surround himself with people for fun. Everyone had a role. Misa gave him cover. His dad gave him intel. Even L, the one guy trying to bring him down, gave Light the opportunity to refine his strategy. Same with Ayanokoji. This guy didn't just blend in at school to make friends. He engineered every connection. Horikita, Kushida, Ryuen, they were all tools to advance his position. He didn't get emotional. He got efficient. That's not heartless, that's chess. Now, here's the part people get wrong. They hear everyone is useful and think it means using people like trash. Nah, that's not what I'm saying. This mindset isn't about being manipulative, it's about being intentional. In your life, every person you're around is either sharpening your blade or dulling it. They're either challenging you or coddling you. And if you're trying to become something great, you can't afford to be around people who serve no purpose. Your time, your focus, your energy, those are your real currency. And who you spend them on, that's your investment portfolio. So how do you use this mindset without becoming a straight-up villain? Start by asking this: what role does this person play in my growth? Are they smarter than you? Do they push you? Do they give you real feedback? Or are they just there to fill silence and pass time? Bro, if Light hung out with people just to laugh and chill, he'd be dead by episode 5. If Ayanokoji got caught up trying to be liked, he'd be crushed in that system. Same goes for you. You don't need more people in your circle. You need the right ones, and you need to know why they're there. Because once you start moving with that level of clarity, people stop being distractions and start becoming assets. That's how empires are built. Quietly, strategically, one piece at a time. Trait 5. Plan out in advance. Are you running your life with a plan? Or just hoping shit works out? Because here's the real difference between the winners and the rest. Winners don't leave things to chance. They don't react, they orchestrate. Light Yagami, Ayanokoji, and Lelouch Lamperouge, they're the top-tier masterminds who made planning not just a habit, but their survival mechanism. When you plan before everything, you don't just play the game, you own it. Light wasn't just smart, he was a walking blueprint. Every move, every word, every step had been calculated and rehearsed. He had contingency plans stacked so deep it would make your head spin. When L made a move, Light already had 5 counters ready. And when things got messy, he switched plans like a pro. Lelouch, that dude, made entire rebellions bend to his will with strategies layered like chess openings. From faking deaths to manipulating entire armies, Lelouch's mind was a battlefield no one could predict. And Ayanokoji, quiet, calculating, never rushed, he won games before they even started because he saw the whole board while others were stuck on one piece. Now, I'm not saying you need to mastermind revolutions or write death notes, but here's the truth. Most people lose not because they're not smart, but because they don't plan. They wake up, wing it through the day, and then wonder why their life feels out of control. Without a plan, you're just a leaf in the wind, bouncing wherever chaos blows you. But when you plan, you create certainty in uncertainty. You build a fortress around your goals so distractions, temptations, and curveballs don't knock you down. So how do you start? Simple. Treat your day like a mission. Break your goals into clear steps. Predict what might try to throw you off and make a backup plan for it. If you know you get lazy after work, pack your gym stuff the night before. If social media steals your focus, block it before you even open your phone. This isn't about being rigid, it's about taking control. Like Lelouch pulling the strings behind the scenes, Light calculating the perfect move, or Ayanokoji staying 5 steps ahead without anyone noticing. Planning before everything means you don't just survive the game, you own it. It turns chaos into an advantage and uncertainty into power. That's why these 3 never lose. And that's exactly how you need to think if you want to win. Trait 6. Sense of destiny. In a world that feels chaotic, random, and aimless, how do you find a purpose so strong it pulls you forward no matter what? Because that's exactly what separates those who wander through life from those who own it. A sense of destiny isn't some fluffy idea. It's the unshakable belief that your life means something bigger than the noise, the distractions, or the failures. Look at Light Yagami. To him, the world was broken, full of corruption and lies. His destiny? To cleanse it with his own hands, no matter the cost. Lelouch saw himself as the savior of a doomed empire, ready to rewrite the rules even if it made him the villain. Ayanokoji? Quiet, yes, but he's on a path to rise above a brutal system designed to crush him. Each step he takes is driven by a silent, powerful purpose. None of them just drifted, they pulled their future into existence. Now, here's the kicker. Your world probably feels messy, directionless, overwhelming. Maybe you're stuck in the grind, or drowning in options with no clear path. But without a sense of destiny, you're just drifting. You need that why so strong it can pull you through the darkest days. That sense that what you're building isn't just for today, but for something greater tomorrow. Because when you have that, when you truly believe in your mission, failure becomes a lesson, pain becomes fuel, and distractions lose their power. So how do you find that sense of destiny? Start small. Ask yourself what matters so much that you'd fight for it with everything you've got. Your family, your freedom, your legacy. Then turn that into your mission. Write it down. Let it guide your decisions and silence the noise. It doesn't have to be some grand cosmic plan, just a purpose that means more than comfort or approval. When you move with a sense of destiny, you stop waiting for permission or luck. You become unstoppable. Because deep down, you know this ain't just about surviving, it's about becoming. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Also, please go follow me on Instagram. My goal is to reach 60,000 followers within this year, so please support me in achieving my goal. As always, remember I love you and I'm praying for your success. Until next time, stay frosty.